Okay, let's take a look at the probability and statistics part of the review. So we have a box and whisker plot here. You have to remember what these 5 points represent to start off with. So just know that on the far left we have the min, and the far right we have the max. So we can see by going down here that the minimum should be 3, the max should be 13. So if we're trying to find the data set that matches, we can already cross off a few, right? So just on the min alone, this min is 4, so it can't be A. This min is 3. This min is 2, so it can't be C. Right? This min is 3, that's okay. But then look at the max, we have 13. So that's not okay, we already crossed it off. 13, this is okay. This is okay. And this is okay. So both B and D have a min and max of 3 and 13. So then let's look at some of the other points. We have right here in the middle, right, this is the median. Right, this is Q3, the third quartile. This is Q1, which just means the median of the first half of the data, that's what Q1 is, and the median of the second half of the data, that's Q3. So let's take a look at the medians of both B and C. So we can find the middle, the exact middle. We count our way in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the median of B is 7. That matches here. It's 7, right? And let's check on D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, the median of both of these is 7. So now we have to look at Q1 and Q3. So Q1 is equal to 4. So let's find the median of just the first half. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So the middle two of this, the first half of the data are 4 and 4, which the average of those two would be 4. So that works. And then you can see in the same way, the middle two numbers here of the first half of the data are 3 and 4. So the median would be 3.5. So the Q1 or D would actually be 3.5, which means B is our answer. And we could do the same thing with Q3 just to verify that it's 11 as well. So we can see that 11 is the middle of the second half of the data here. And if we did the same thing over here, we might end up with, let's see here, yeah, the Q3 here would be 12. The middle of 11 and 13 is 12. Let's go to number 4. So let's look at this another box and whisker, and we're trying to find out in this question which of the values is possibly wrong, or D, is it actually correct? So we're looking at Q1, the median, and Q3. So we pretty much want to go through here and see, does Q1 actually equal 51? Is the median actually 55? And is Q3 actually 59? So in order to do that, we need to put this data in order from least to greatest. Let's go ahead, I'll write that out. And like magic, here they all are in order from least to greatest. So let's find the median first, the middle of all of these points. So you just need to count in the same number. Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I count from this direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see the middle number is indeed 55, right? So that's okay. So we can rule out B as being the right answer because the median is correct. And then just do the same thing looking at the Q1 and Q3. So we can look at the middle of just the first half. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have the median of these two, which is 51. So that's correct. And then do the same thing for the second half. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same idea. So we'll have the median of these two, which is 60.5, which does not come out to 59. So it looks like our Q3 is what's incorrect here. All right, let's go down to the next page. So we have a dot plot here, and we're just trying to see which one matches. So we need to find which data set looks like 5 ones and has 4 twos, has 2 threes, and 3 fours. Right, so we can just look through the data sets and see if A has 5 ones or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So can't be A, only has 4 ones. B has 1, 2, 3, 4 as well, can't be B. C has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it could be C, that has 5. And then D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like C and D are okay so far just by counting how many ones. And then go through and just see how many fours there are. So looking at C, we're looking for, no, sorry, twos. Looking for 4 twos in C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 twos in C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 twos in D. So just move on to the next. We need 2 threes. Okay, so scanning here, I got 1 3 and then 2 threes. And then going to D, we have 1, 2, and 3 threes. So that eliminates D and leaves us with C. Go down to 45 here. Another box and whisker. Looks like there's only A, B choice, so we just need to look carefully here. Looks like the mins are both 0. The medians in the middle are both 2, and the maxes are both 6. So we are really looking at Q1, making sure it's equal to 1, and Q3, and making sure that's equal to 4. So if we look at, let's see here, let's take A here and look at Q1. So we'll have these two would be the middle of the first half, so the middle of 1 and 1 is 1. These two would be the middle of the second half, so the middle of 4 and 4 is just 4. So that seems to work. I go here, do the same thing, the middle of 0 and 1 would be 0.5. So if this came out to be 0.5, then B would be correct. Same thing here, the middle of 2 and 4 is actually 3. So the Q3 of B is actually equal to 3. So our answer is going to be A, because it has 1 and 4 as a Q1 and Q3. Let's go down to 46. Looking at the distribution, suppose you can draw a vertical line through the histogram that divides the histogram into 2 equal parts that are mirror images. So that might give you a clue there. And which word describes those? So mirror image alone, we've used it to describe quite a few different types of graphs, not just in statistics, but in all types of graphing. You might remember when we did parabolas, we used to mention how it was symmetric, because down the middle of the line, right there, the axis of symmetry, you have the same graph on either side, like they'd be mirror images of each other, right? So as long as you can draw a vertical line down the middle and have the same graph on both sides, that's what we're looking for. So in that case, we call that the line of symmetry, which is the same as a symmetric graph. Let's go over to 47. There we go. If the mean of the data is 20 and the standard deviation was 1.5 and the distribution of the data value is approximately normal, okay, so we're talking about right here, that's the shape of the graph. It's normal. So that means it's going to look like this. That's the bell curve. Just like that. And about 68%. So the piece of information you need to know here is that the middle 68% is 1 standard deviation plus or minus from the mean. So 1 standard deviation. Go, and standard deviation to the left, and the mean will be in the middle here. So this is 20. So if we're going to go 1 standard deviation bigger, it's going to be 1.5 more. So 20 plus 1.5 is 21.5, and then 20 minus 1.5, standard deviation, will give us 18.5. So that means 68% of the data will be between 18.5 and 21.5. That'd be A. Let's go down to number 48, looking at some. The z-score is going to be the value of x minus minus the mean divided by standard deviation. So our z-score will be 610 minus our mean, 514, divided by 117. So you just need a calculator and find out that that z-score is going to be, let's see here, 610 minus 514 divided by 117. Oops. 117. And we get 0.82. So we're looking for all the values, probability of z being, I think it says, less on the test. So less than 0.82. So you technically need a table for this or a graphing calculator. So if we look this up and find 0.82, here's 0.8, 0.82 would be 0.793 or 0.794 if you round it. So that would give us an answer of 79.4%. So that means right here, if this is 610, that 79.4% of the data is less than it. Now, because it has a table, you will not see a question like this on the actual final. Okay. But just as a hint, look up the probability of rolling a dice and finding the sum of it. We did a few problems like that. Those will be on the test. Going to 49 for data which describes shape. So you have to kind of make like a dot plot to find out, well, which is the best fit here. So we have like a minimum of 21, and we can go 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 looks like the max. I'm just going to do a dot for each one. So 25, 23, 24, 27, 26, 23, again, two 23s, 24, and 26, 22, 25, 27, 28, 22 again, 28 again, and 21 and 21. So that is a very uniform distribution, meaning it's the same distribution throughout the whole dot plot here. Just a little reminder that left skewed looks like this. Right skew looks like this. And of course, normal is just this, where it's in the middle. Let's go to number 4, 7, 8, and then 11, and then 14. So we're looking at a min of 4, max of 14, and a median, this way, median of 8. So we can look at all of these and pretty quickly eliminate C and D because the min and the max don't match. The median's 8, so the two remaining ones all have the same min, median, and max. So we're looking at the Q1 and Q3. So for the Q1, Q3, we're really just going to be looking at, well, we're going to take out the middle one because it's an odd number of data points, right? So we're not going to use 8. as far as finding the Q1, Q3. So the Q1 is just the average of these two, and the Q3 is just the average of these two. So after little calculations, you can find out, well, 4 plus 7 divided by 2 would be 5.5. And then the median of these two would be, see, 11 plus 14 would be 25 divided by 2 would be 12.5. So that looks like to be right here 5.5 and then 12.5 for the Q3. So we have A. Let's get into the trig right now. So last section, just a few questions here. Which function has an amplitude of 3? So amplitude is all right here. So all of these have an amplitude of 3. And a period of 4 pi. So recall that this number tells you how many cycles per 2 pi. So that means this is going to do 4 cycles by the time it gets to 2 pi. A period is the length it takes to do 1 cycle. So this is saying if this does 4 cycles by the time you get to 2 pi, that means by the time you get to 4 pi, it's going to do twice as many. That'd be 8 cycles. So it's not going to be either of these that have the 4 here. So those are both out. Here you can see they both have half, right? Meaning they're going to do half a full cycle by the time they get to 2 pi. So it looks something like this. By the time we get, say, to 2 pi for sine, it's only going to have half of the cycle, which means to complete one full cycle, it's going to need to go to 4 pi, and that's why the period is 4 pi when there's a 1/2 here. So we got C as our answer. Technically, D, just because it's cosine, doesn't make it any different. It would just look like this. So really, C or D would both give you one full cycle and 4 pi. So you can have either one. Let's see here. Identify the measure equivalent on number 52. So we just need to convert this to degrees. You might have this memorized already. So if off the top of your head you're thinking it's 240, then you're correct. If not, you can go ahead and convert it. Conversion is 180 over pi, and you can just divide those pi's out and do 4 times 180 and then divide it by 3 and you get let's see here, get the 240 degrees, right? Same thing here, we can convert 7 pi over 4 to degrees. You might have it memorized already, but if not, same idea, 180 over pi, and that will give you 315 degrees. All right, almost there. Let's look at which angle has the same measure of cosine of pi over 3. And like the others, if you're not sure what pi over 3 is, convert it, and you'll find out this is 60 degrees. So we're talking about a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if this is the 60 or the pi over 3, know that the short leg is 1, hypotenuse is 2, the long leg is root 3. So the sine of, or the cosine of pi over 3, right, which is 60 degrees, cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's going to be 1 over 2. So which of these right here equal 1/2 as well? So the only way you're going to get another 1/2 is if you do 1 over 2 again. So we'd have to do that from this side. So from this angle, 1 over 2 would be opposite over hypotenuse, right? This is the sine of this angle. So the sine of this angle, but what is this angle? Well, if this is 60 degrees here, this is a 90, that must mean this is 30. So this is a sine of 30 is also 1/2. right? And in radians, 30 degrees is pi over 6. So the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. And that's the same as the cosine of pi over 3. That gives us A. And then lastly here it asks, well, what is the exact tangent of pi over 3? So that's, once again, 60 degrees, so we can actually use this diagram and just find the tangent. Recall that tangent is opposite over adjacent, no hypotenuse. So opposite over adjacent would be root 3 is the opposite. Adjacent is 1, so we just get a tangent of root 3. And just keep in the back of your mind that tangent is the slope of that actual line. So if you're going to say, well, what's the point of this? 60-degree angle looks like this. That's the rise over run of this angle, the slope of the angle. It's root 3 or like 1.7 as a decimal. Let's look at 56, look at the graph function. So we have what appears to be a cosine, because sine starts here in the middle. Sine and cosine will start at the top and bottom. The fact that it starts at the bottom lets me know not only is it a cosine, but it is a negative cosine. It starts at the bottom. Positive cosine starts at the top. There's only one answer here that has a negative cosine. That would be B. It has a 2x, which means it completes 2 cycles by the time you get to 2 pi. So you can see right here is pi, which means right here is 2 pi, and it does indeed get through full cycle there and another full cycle by the time it gets to 2 pi. Right, one more, I believe, or two. Let's see here. Okay, graphing. Okay, which is the equation below. So once again, we can see it's starting in the cosine position down here at -2. And like the last problem, since it's a negative cosine, we know it has to be either B or D, because those both are negative cosine. So A and C are out. So sine sines only. And then we get through a full cycle. There's two ways of looking at this. We get through a full cycle by the time we get to 8 pi. Right? Or by the time we get to 2 pi right here, we only got through a fourth of the graph. So that lets me know that since by 2 pi we get through the fourth of the graph, that B is our answer because this has the 1/4 in there. All right, I believe that is the end of the review. So make sure you can do each of these problems by yourself without stopping, print out extra reviews, and keep on going until you can do all of it correct by yourself. Good luck.